Do you see us live in the page?
I didn't get a notification that we're live yet.
I do not see us on our page. On Solar.
Oh, there we are.
You see us?
Yeah. We're
I
there.
don't see it, but I'm still looking.
I'm still looking too. I'm just refreshing again.
Yes. Okay.
Oh,
So,
it says we're live.
okay.
I'm live. Hey, everyone.
Yay! 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 Okay, round 2. So now
There's a share.
This is
Share
exciting.
to the group.
Is someone already sharing to the group?
Yes.
Okay, so we now share to our own pages, right?
I'm like, wow, it's not
Yeah,
letting me.
I just did on my page.
Yay! Oh wait, it won't let me share to my personal.
Let me share to my personal page. Or?
Yeah, me neither. It won't let me. It'll only let me share to my business.
Oh, I did it.
Oh, I did it.
How'd you? There's no option to change. Weird.
Okay, I was able to share. I can share to maybe your page, Memo.
Oh, you know what? I think it's because it says share in a group, in an event, or a page, but it doesn't say me.
Oh, it's just you
Fun.
and the regular one. Like it doesn't make you click anything. Oh, I did it. Oops, that's embarrassing.
Oh, I know. I'm interacting as Solit. That's why.
I was like, oh, am I too?
Everyone's like, okay.
Share to your story. Share now public. Right? Share
Yeah,
now
you just-
public. Yes.
Hi, everyone. We have 6 people.
Everyone.
Yay. Oh, yay. Okay, share. Solit first. I think it's working. Let me just double check to see if it's working.
We're just getting some logistics.
Oh, it is working. Yay! Oh my God, sorry, it's so loud.
Okay, here we go.
This is so fun.
Hey, we're doing it. We did it. Hi, everyone. We're so excited you're here. If you're just getting on, leave us a little comment of what city you're from, what you would like to get out of class today. The topic is benefits of generating joy. So if there's anything going on in your life on, questions on how to generate more joy, let us know. We're just one more minute until 11:11.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that timing. We are on it.
We're on it.
We are on it, guys.
Yeah, thank you for sticking with us as we get everything settled in and shared.
Figured out.
Here we
Enjoy
go.
We've just spent probably the past, whatever 10 minutes having just a joyous time giggling about this.
Watching us.
Oh,
Yeah, we're almost ready to get started. Again, if you are just popping on, if you can maybe share with us like what city you're from and how we can serve you. What happened?
There's 11 people on. 11.
With 11 people on.
I just think they're so happy. Oh,
Yay!
That's 11, but that's okay.
Yeah, this is some joy beam activations happening here.
Yes. All right. We're at 11:11.
Okay, let's get started. Okay, let's just take a couple deep breaths to ground in. We're going to call in all of our guides to be present with us so that we can be the clearest channels for all of you. We have all of your guides present, all of our guides present. Ooh. And I'm already pulling a card for us. It's the Courageous Peony, but I read Pony at first. That's why I laughed.
Oh my God. And this is Solit.
And this card is let yourself be seen.
Let yourself be what?
Seen.
Seen. Oh.
Yes.
Perfect.
So we want to talk a little bit about the benefits of generating joy, especially during the times that we're kind of moving through, and like how you being a joy being is actually going to serve the collective and serve the community that you're at. Hi, Amanda. Yay!
Oh, hi, Amanda. So cool to have
Hi,
you
Amanda.
here.
Awesome. Yeah, again, just like leave us a shout out. We can't see every person. So if you want to leave like your name and
Yeah.
what city you're in.
I know. I can see we have 15 people, but I want to
Yeah, I
know who
can
they
see
are.
that too. I can see who they are.
Say hi.
Say hi.
Sam and Alan, Will. Hey guys.
Yay. Yeah. So we just, ooh, hi Jen. Awesome.
I was all like, hey.
Hi.
Oh my goodness.
So we kind of want to talk a little bit about the mechanics of joy. So joy frequency is a really fast moving frequency. And so when we, the thing is the natural state of your body and your energy is joy to begin with. So when you're not feeling joy, that means there's a thought, a belief, something that is out of alignment from your higher self, from the way cosmos sees you and the moment that you're in. And so, a really easy technique, super fast, super easy technique is just when something feels off, just pause, breathe, and feel. And just pause, breathe, and feel. And that signals to your body that, okay, like your body's like, oh, I'm being loved right now. Oh, I'm being seen right now. You're bringing all that power and energy back into the present moment. And that's like, just by doing that, it brings your body back into balance, and then you'll start to harmonize and come back to your joy space again.
It's literally the Instagram post that I made today.
I didn't even read it. So.
Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. For everyone, we all have different roles in Solit. So I posted on Instagram today, and I was literally talking about like taking a moment and tapping into the heart, like just like before deciding, before creating, just like coming back into heart space and allowing desire to flow, right? And the message that's coming in right now, which is really interesting, is that it's okay to be prosperous and joyful during this time. Right? Like, don't feel guilty for being excited. Don't be guilty if your business is doing, the most sales that it's ever have. It's just like, it's so joyful right now, and it's okay to be joyful.
Yeah, because
like another spectrum on another spectrum of that is that there's a lot of research that even if somebody isn't feeling joyous, that when you smile, it's like it creates a pause in the momentum. So just what you guys were speaking on. So even if you're not feeling in that way, it's almost like, we've heard like fake it till you make it. There's actually a lot of research behind it where I think it just creates a pause in the momentum to really connect back into the heart, into that heart space, being able to just smile. And as we all know, it's like, one of the things of generating joy, like laughter is the best medicine, right? So like if you're feeling in a down mood or anything, it's like finding something funny, whether it's a show or anything, can also help really shift that vibration and momentum. Like we've been having a giggle fest for like the past 15 minutes. So like what brings you joy can be like so personal, but it's something that is also contagious, and like you can, it's like it spreads. And then as it spreads, it's a magnetizer. So it's like,
what's really important about what Jen's talking about is that it could have been perceived as stressful. Like nothing was really working when we're trying to go live. We did it. We had to cancel it, delete it. Like everything was not joyful, but we're all just laughing and we're like, this is so fun. And then what's funny is like it starts working at 11:11, which is when we wanted to go in, right? And so it's like, but that is the frequency that we stayed at regardless of the external situation, which allowed us to be right on track instead of being like, oh, this isn't working, this sucks, like, let's not do it. I think that's really important to know.
So while you guys were doing that, I pulled this card. You are the universe.
Yes.
And it just reminded me of like that pause that you're talking about, Jen. When that pause is allowed, when you allow that pause in, it's almost like you get to remember who you are, and you are the universe, right? So it's like when you peer out from the eyes of God, there's this like lightness that says, because if you are a god, let's just pretend that you're a god, right? Then you get to make all the rules. You get to decide what you want to do. You get to like play in this like creation space, and like there's no consequences to some degree, right? So it's like if you can take that pause moment, then the remembrance is allowed, like it flows into your space, and then you go, oh, I get to peer out from God's eyes. Like, what is that like? You know, there's like such magic in that.
Yeah, I love that. And it's like we're all our own mini universe. You know, it's like as much as we want to think that we all play by the same rules, like we really don't, you know? And so it's really important for you to get clear on what are the rules in your own mind. You know, it's like, where are you limiting joy or limiting access to happiness, thinking that you're doing something good? You know, like I know we've all kind of been taught to like worry or miss people or, you know, but really like those things, like it slows down the vibration, and it's not really serving the collective. It's not serving your, like when you're really in your joyous vibration, the energy moves very quickly. And when the energy moves very quickly, that's the natural state of flow of your body. So your hormones are healthier, like everything communicating within your body is healthier because the energy is moving faster.
Right. Like all those neurotransmitters, if you think about it, joy is expanding, right? And it's like, so it's like whenever the contraction feelings and where we're meant to feel and the different ebbs and flows, but it's like you said, it's the mini universes. And you know, Mom was saying it's like coming from the eyes of like, you are God. And it's like, so within that, you know, I've kind of been talking recently to some people where it's like perspective, right? It's like two people can grow up in the same household as siblings, but the perspective that they have is their own. It's all like, we all have our own personal ways that we feel, and it's valid in that. And then within it, how Sam was saying, it's like, where have we like been taught to like limit our joy or hide that like vibration or that frequency, or have the guilt around feeling good, or that we shouldn't, or you know, all these things. So it's like really, it's like when we can pause, look through the eyes of God, source, universe, creator, whatever you want to call it, and it's like, oh, how do I want to like recalibrate in this moment, connect in with the heart, and then like expand in that joy. And then it just, again, it's that magnetizer, right? Because then all the right things start flowing to you, the people, the connections, the money, the like, it's magic.
Yeah. When you're talking this, like, I don't know if this, you guys can see this, but this is Alex Gray. He does like amazing photo, like he, you know, an artist. And this is what it, like when someone's creating out of joy though, like this is really how I see it. Cause I see colors and stuff and auras. And like, this is literally like such a good description, you know, on an energy basis of what it looks like when you create out of joy though, like seriously. And this is like coming in as Jen was talking.
No, it's huge because like when you're creating from that space of joy, it's like the energy that's emanating from you that goes into your copy, it goes into your products, it goes into like everything that's like in your experience. And then when you're creating from that space, then you're generating more of that. And then that is like, that's what's creating that ripple effect. Like that's what everyone's craving at the end of the day, right? Is joy. It's like everything that they're doing, they're creating their business, they want to create more money, all those things, like at the end of the day, really what they want is joy. So if you kind of like reverse engineer it and start from joy, then your energy field becomes like a magnet for more of that to come to you.
And I love how like thinking, like talking about the magnetism, it's like that force of magnetism just is. Like the law of attraction isn't something you learn, it just exists. So like it's like gravity. You don't have to think about it. Like you don't have to like manipulate it. Gravity is working for you, you know, whether you're conscious of it or not, whether you're paying attention to it or not. That's what law of attraction is. That's what the magnetism and that attractive nature of the universe is already happening, whether you think about it or not. So what you can do is basically liners, like, but what you are and where your power is your focus. You are a focuser. And the law of attraction is the momentum builder, right? So you don't have to create momentum. You just have to tune your focus. You just have to, like, it's almost like laser beams. You laser beam that focus. Law of attraction doesn't work for you. Like the gravity doesn't work for you. It pulls it down, right? Same thing. It pulls it to you naturally.
Yeah, and that resonates deeply with me because that's how I work, right? And if I don't feel joyful, I'm not going to create. Like, there's a really mindful thing that that's how I operate in my business and in my life. And it's like every single time when I honor that, when I honor like this isn't where I'm at right now, so I'm not going to out of obligation create something. And when I honor that, it's like the next day, so I have like a rest day and it doesn't make sense. It's like beautiful outside, it's like I should be going in and doing things or whatever, and I'm like laying on the couch and like there's an old part of me like that I had to work through, right? It's like, no, it's okay, like honor yourself, rest, do whatever you need. And then the next day I like download like a whole right? Like seriously, it just happened. And it's because I honored myself and then acted or anything like that. Yes? Am I breaking up?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit.
Just honor yourself was breaking up. So when I honor myself.
Or like repeat that.
I'm like, I don't know. That just I don't know. It's gone. It came in and out.
And it migrated.
You know, like what Mason's talking about is like, you know, if you're flowing really, really well, then like go all in, go create. But if you feel like you're pushing it or forcing it, like go take a nap, because that momentum, your body's basically saying like, this is not the time to create. Like if you create from this space, you're going to start to deplete your life force energy. And like, that's like the opposite of what you want to do. You know, it's like the whole thing is to generate and create really, really good chi, you know? And if you look at the Heart Math Institute, like when you understand the frequency that comes from your heart, it's like, it's huge. It radiates so big. And when you understand the oneness concept, it's like your heart is basically communicating with that other person. So when you take time to tend to your heart, like that vibration buzzing, like that is what's going to attract the client or attract your new lover or attract like whatever it is that you're wanting to vibe into your world. Like for me, like I kind of like talk to how it's like my car's name is Sparkles, and like, you know, it's like even those things, like they love you, so that's why they come into your atmosphere. You know, like the house that I want, like I think it's like 2.59 million or whatever. Anyway, so it's like they took it off the market right now because I'm like, I know, like she's waiting for me, you know. But you know, so it's like if you start to treat everything in the universe like it's just love, it's just a game of love. Like joy is your greatest currency.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think it's like so much of life is a journey back to love, right? It's like coming back. So it's all the programming, imprinting, the old stories, the way, and it's like, you know, we can see it as like, oh, you know, the lack or the feeling of joy, but each experience really serves a purpose. It offers us an opportunity to understand what really creating and tapping into joy feels like. How can we know joy if we don't know the absence of it, right? And so it's like when we can tune in with our inner being and really learn how to like gauge within the scope of that and say, you know, as Mason said, like, you know, it may not make sense. Like, well, there's these obligations, right? I should be creating right now. I have to get this done. But if you're doing that and creating, like Sam said, it's like depleting that life force. So it's like tuning in. Oh, when I feel that joy, when it's like, it opens up that flow, it opens up that magnetism, it opens up like everything. And it's always just like that journey back to love, back to the heart, and to create from that space and like love yourself up. It's nothing short of magical, right?
Right. Me and Sam always used to teach when we were doing like filming Soul at Hub. We were always talking about ripeness. Like always, like, is the idea ripe? Like, is it, or are you forcing it? Because like it will translate into the product or the relationship or whatever it is that you're manifesting. It will always translate if you're forcing it, because it's not that like authentic joy piece, like creating in the heart. And sometimes there is that pause, there's that integration. Like the last week, I've been like wanting to create something, but I just haven't fully done it yet. Like I knew I wasn't clear enough. I just knew it. And I wanted to, but I just couldn't. I had to wait. And I was like, okay, like I'm ready whenever you are, like whenever it's going to come in, I'm excited. And then like, boom, yesterday, you know, it's like here. And I'm like, now I'm like running full force. So it's right, but it wasn't right, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's like during that time, your energy feels like it's collecting data. It's like the whole universe is rearranging itself so that you can actually have the thing you want, create the thing that you want. But most of us were like, oh, it's not here yet. It's not here yet. And so then you drop your vibe, you know? So then like, instead of staying in that joyful vibe, whereas like, you know, sorry, bouncing back ideas, but like every time I talk to someone about like when they attracted their person, they're always like, I was like in my career. I was like in it. I was just like, I was creating, I was in the flow. I was doing so good. And then because they were riding that wave, then their person magnetized into their field because they were on that high, you know? And I think if you look back in your life, you're going to see a lot of times when like good things happen to you because you were at a really high vibration, you know, or even the opposite. Maybe you were at a low vibration, and see what you were attracting into your life during those times. You know, like what are you pulling in? I was kind of thinking about this morning, but it's like it's more important for you to know how to vibe something in than for you to be able to know how to create it. Because sometimes, you know, for instance, like I don't know how to weave a basket, but I can vibe in a basket. Like I might not be good at like design and all that stuff, but like I can vibe someone in that's good at design, you know?
I have a business partner and that designs it for you.
Like, you know, because I was thinking about my boyfriend Angel. I was like, oh my God, he just vibed that in. Like, you know.
Yes.
Well, I think one of the things like is an extension of that, Sam, too. It's like it's when we're vibing things in out of where it's like, oh, it's not out of like, I need it here. It's based on the physical evidence of it. It's like, oh, I'm feeling it. And then we kind of go about our ways and then it'll come in. So it's like the vibration of that joy and that magnetism and that coming in. It's not always based on like a circumstance or a thing set in there at the time. It's a feeling. Yeah. And it's like, I live in that feeling.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. It's like you can't calibrate to the manifestation. You have to calibrate to the end product, which is the feeling that you want from the manifestation. So you have to, your focus has to be on that feeling, not that manifestation. So that's where I feel like a lot of people get like mixed up, where it's like that's what they're calibrating to. So it's like they're holding themselves back until that thing shows up. And it's like,
yeah. And well, what's happening when you do that, it's like if you're trying to get like the car and you're not like feeling what it would be like, then you're creating all the lack, like I don't have that car, right? So then you're like blocking yourself from getting it.
Yeah, like this just happened to me. Like, so I just moved into this new house in Santa Barbara, and then like in my mind, I was like, oh, it's just not organized yet. It's just not organized. And then Angel's like, well, you gotta visualize it clean first, like. So then I'm just like, I visualized it all clean and already organized, and then like, you know, it just happened. I love that. It was like suddenly he helped and like everything just like worked out. I was like, oh my gosh, everything has a place, you know. But like when you're focusing on what you don't want, then that's like what you're gonna create.
Yeah, well, it's like that level of expansion, right? Because it's like, oh, here it is. Everything is cluttered. It's piled, whatever. And then it comes the joy. It's like all of a sudden you magnetize. Oh, I want to put this in this space. I want to put this here. I want to, you know. So it like really opens up the flow to tap in with the joy of like, oh, I get to, even though it may be a mess now, I get to like actually redo everything. You know, turn out something new.
Totally. Yeah, solution oriented.
Yes. The vibration solution is different from the vibration and the frequency of the issue, right? You can't get there, as Abraham always says.
Yes.
Can we talk about tools, guys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just want to say hi to James, hi to Shelly, hi to Kevin. Yay, welcome.
How can you see who it's in or who's there?
I just have it on my personal one here.
I know, I just can't see the people.
Me neither.
I really want to
like hi. From, and if you have any intentions around generating or creating joy, we'd love to hear from you. So.
Absolutely. If this is resonating, give us some love.
Cards, give us some love.
Talking. We love talking about this stuff.
Yeah, so let's share some powerful joy-generating tools for you.
What do you have in mind, Momo?
Oh no, because I feel like when at least for me, I like to think, okay, great, I get it. So what do I do? Like, that's where I get. What do I do
Right.
next? I get super eager, and then like, wait, I need guidance. I don't know what to do. So like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, one of the first things that comes up for me is kind of how I spoke on earlier. It's like joy is so personal. It's a personal thing, but it's something that can also be shared. So what brings joy to you on a personal basis? You know, whether it could be something as simple as like a cup of coffee, right? I'm like, simple but not simple. It's so wonderful. So it's like a cup of coffee, you know, it's like, but the joy, it's what tuning into like, what is it that brings you joy? What is it that lights you up? What is it that's feeling? And then see if you can follow that inspiration. See if you can follow those feelings and those guidance throughout your day. And or you know, just the inspiration. What is it that brings you joy? And even smiling, again, even if you don't feel like smiling, what smiling does, and it starts like kind of rewiring some, you know, hormones in your body, and it's like it'll send a whole chemical transmission in opening up like the benefits. One of the things too is starting off your morning really tuning in with yourself.
I was just thinking that.
Because it's like the momentum that we start our day. It's like my family and I, we do, it's a Taoist practice, and it's called the inner smile. And so we touch, you know, thumbs and hands here, and we put it over like our dantian, like solar plexus, like down here. And all you do is literally, and I'm, you know, being a mom, all this stuff, it's like you can't necessarily take you know, an hour in the morning. But even 30 seconds of just thinking about something that makes you smile. So again, whether it's that cup of coffee that's coming, or the sunrise, or kitties, you know, but we all tune in where it's all personal, what it is that we're tuning in with, that joy of what it is that makes us smile. We're all sharing that moment, and then how that sets off our day. And honestly, there's such a difference when we don't do that, or don't do a practice that generates or like, you know, kind of nurtures that tuning in with the self and feeding from, okay, let's create from this mindful place. It makes such a huge difference. I feel like there's more that needs to come in from you guys.
Well, in terms of resistance that I'm seeing here with Elaine, whenever I feel resistance in even just connecting in with joy, right? Which tends to be like connecting in with joy is I realize it's a natural like way of being for me. So when there's resistance, it's literally like a red flag for me. So it's like, okay, there's resistance there. I need to look at that flag. What is that flag? Instead of like, okay, let's just stop the momentum. Let's look somewhere else, which can work sometimes too. But usually because it's not a normal thing for me, it's like a really big red flag. So I would look into, whoa, what do you want to show me? What is this message here? What is this resistance? If I can uncover what that resistance is, it's not as scary. It's not as big. It's not this like big scary monster under the bed. It's just like a bug crawling underneath the bed, but the light made it look really big or something. You know what I mean? So it's just like uncovering that fear and seeing, like really getting really super honest with yourself. I like to put my hand over my heart, close my eyes, take a few deep breaths, and go, what is it that I'm scared of? Why do I not want this? What is it in me? What's the benefit in me in staying here and not being in joy? There's some sort of merit in me to stay here. Maybe it makes me feel safe. Maybe it makes me feel like the other shoe won't drop, right? Whatever it is, what is that? And then you just ask yourself and then the thing is you ask and then you have to receive, even the message. So you ask yourself and then get silent. Don't try to figure out what it is. Don't try to like find what that answer is. Just sit there and go, do I hear anything? What's the first thing that pops into my mind, right? And then let that unfold.
Yeah, I want to say my one tool, and this is what I'm practicing right now, and it's allowing yourself to do something different. It's allowing yourself to come into something that might not be what's expected. And that might be, you know, lifelong people-pleasing habits, thinking that you have to work really hard for money. As an entrepreneur, you have to show up on a daily basis. Whatever the limiting beliefs that are coming in, don't let them like, just like look at them and be like, no, not today. And like lay on the couch all day or do whatever you need to rearrange your day. Like it's okay to do that. And what you're doing is you're creating room. I always talk about that. It's like, yeah, you want that, but you don't have room for it. Like you gotta release some stuff. You gotta do some stuff. You gotta rest and then be ready to show up. You have to embody that. And we are in human bodies. Like, we have to rest. You have to just stop for a minute. And like, that's the thing, is like, I didn't do that. And I was burnt out in my business. I didn't even think I wanted to heal or like coach people. I was just like, I'm done. I hate this. And it's not true. I was just tired. You know? So just allow yourself to rest and come into authentic joy, not like joy out of obligation. That's my tool.
Just to like go on that a little bit too, is how it's like we're in the human body, so the ebbs and flows and rhythms of our emotions and the way we feel, there's going to be like such a huge variation of that, right?
Yes.
And so it's like within that, it's like noticing where it is that you feel. And a lot of the times where Mom was saying, it's like, you know, when she doesn't feel joy and it's that red flag that comes up, really it's like those are the places too where it's like the joy has been capped off. It has been, you know, whether through our personal experiences or how, like the fears, like you said, it's like there's a merit keeping you there. So what is it? So it's like within that, it's like coming into that place and resting in it can allow that, like, this is a place where this love wants to be felt, and I've been scared too. And so, or this is a place where I'm just fucking exhausted and I thought that like I felt this way about everything else, but really like, this is what I need. So the like part of generating joy is really about also allowing yourself to kind of acclimate and understand where it is that you are too, in like that rhythm and cycle.
Yeah. And I just wanted to add to that. It's like, I see that even just giving yourself the permission to ask and to receive an answer is you cultivating your self-love and discovering, sorry, it's so loud. My roof is being rebuilt. So if you hear that background, my bad. I've been trying to mute myself. But just this message needs to come out. So it's like, remember that when you ask yourself and give yourself that permission, you're building a whole different relationship with yourself. You're discovering a whole nother part of yourself. That red flag is you. That's a part of you going, hey, something's off, look at me, right? And that part of you just wants to be loved down. That part of you just wants attention, right? And when you're doing it, so you're doing that for yourself. So you're already building that momentum to rebuild your relationship with yourself. So remember that when you're doing this and when you're asking, getting curious, you're discovering the masterpiece that is you. You are on this journey of like falling back in love with who you are, right? So like when that's happening, go, hey, good job, me. I'm on this journey. Hey, good job. I'm paying attention to myself. Hey, good job. I'm building this muscle of self-love. Hey, good job, me, for building this relationship with myself. I'm doing something right, you know?
Oh, I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like my tool is, as a Sagittarius,
Hi, Tina.
is like, you know, there's a couple things. One, you can plan a pretend vacation. Because the thing is, like, if you don't plan the vacation, it's probably never going to happen. But if you plan it, then you're like, wait, there's a window here. Hey, I already have this all planned out. Let's just do it. You know, so I think that's really fun. The thing is, you have to think like you're brilliant. You know, like you have so much energy. And I just want to say, like, hi, Tina. Hi, Anna. And
hi, Tina. I love you so much.
And look in your calendar, because if you look at your calendar and you're like, ugh, that sucks, I don't really want to do that. You know, it's like your calendar is what's creating your life, right? So it's like, if there's stuff in there, like you're like, even if it's a workout, you know, like I don't do workouts that I don't love anymore. You know, like I'm being like, oh, I have to do this, so I'm going to do that. Like, oh, like I love doing this. It's so good for my body and it feels so good, you know? So it's just like, just look through your calendar and start to decide, like, are there things in there that truly light you up? And I like the 80-20 principle, because I think there's always going to be some things you don't really want to do, but like you kind of have to. Mm-hmm. But if you can get to like 80% of like stuff that really lights you up, and then the 20% where you're like, all right, I just got to kind of like move through that, you know? I think that brings like a really good balance into your system, you know? But other than that, I would say perspective shift. You know, like when I wash the dishes, I imagine like rainbow light flowing in and like cleaning the dishes, or I set the intention that as I clean this space, like there are kids that will be fed, you know, or like oceans will be clean. Like I make it like a prayer So it just makes it like more fun. So you don't think you're like wasting your energy doing this thing. And you may think that it doesn't matter, but really it does. Like, it's like, you know, we're all interconnected. So just having that powerful prayer will do something. You may not know exactly what it's going to do, but it's like, it's going to do something. So those are my joy tools.
I love it.
Oh, it was so
much.
great.
So good. So somehow feels complete.
I'm so hungry. I've been thinking about a quesadilla.
Brings you joy, right?
Joy and a coffee.
Anyways, we love you guys so much. And but yeah, we love you guys so much. So if you guys have specific topics on what you guys want to learn, please like email us love@soulit.co or leave us a message here. And if you aren't in our free Facebook page, it's called Get Soulit. So yeah, we'd love to have you in our free Facebook page.
Live every week.
We're on every Friday at 11.
So it'll be a weekly thing. So
any topics again that you want us to address or speak on that resonate, we'd love to play.
yeah, come play.
Yeah, please leave it. I think leaving it in the comments is just such an easy way to do it. Just let us know what you want.
Yeah.
We'll give it to you.
Love you guys so much.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful Friday.
Oh,